Welcome back to Faith and Fire. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about something musical. We've got music in our souls. So there's a lot of conversation in the space around music and secular music in particular. So in communities of faith, they talk about anything from Satanism in the music industry, all the way to how it hits your soul when you hear music that may not be uplifting. Some people even say gospel music's all you should listen to as a person of faith. So we're going to break that down and have a conversation. Is there something weird going on in the music industry? Are we only supposed to be listening to gospel music? What's going on with this faith and secular music? So to have that conversation, I have two great guests with me today. We have Brandy. Welcome, Brandy.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Good. And Shareé.
Hello, Lady J. Thank you for having us.
Yes. Okay, girl. So I'm going to tee it off with where this conversation started. So we were all at a Doja Cat concert.
Yes.
Which was hilarious in and of itself because I did not know who Doja Cat was when I was offered the tickets. I was like, oh, this must be one of those teeny boppers that my son would love. I'll bring him to the concert.
Far from it.
Very far, I found out.
Yes.
So as I was getting ready for this concert, I was like, well, let's just listen to a few of the songs that I can bop with you. And that's not what I heard.
It's on the opposite spectrum.
It is on,
bop.
Yes.
It is on the opposite spectrum. And more than that, that's when I actually didn't find out till we got there some of the rumors about,
I think I told you.
I think you did tell me about Doja Cat and the scene worship. I was like, okay, this will be an interesting day. Yes, it will. So since then, it got me thinking. And I was like, okay, we got to come back together and huddle after this and have a conversation. So, I mean, let's dive into the deep end and talk about that. I sent y'all a video that I had come across when I went in. You know how you go in a TikTok rabbit hole.
Yes.
And they were talking about all the artists in the industry that they thought were Satanists. Like, okay, that video. Let's talk about that.
That was a lot.
Yes.
It was a lot. I felt like I was in that rabbit hole with you. After I looked at it, I was like, what is happening in this video right now?
Yes.
Yeah.
So like some of them, I was like, this is a stretch. Like, okay, we may be jumping on some little things. Like I think someone threw up what looked like the Delta symbol for Divine
Beyonce.
Nine, Greek. Rihanna, Beyonce. And they went straight to demonic pyramid. And I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that was a thing. And I'm kind of glad that I didn't know about the demonic pyramid.
The pyramids show up. It's a triangle. It shows up all over the place.
Yeah, I didn't know that was a thing. And I'm glad I didn't.
So part of me looks at that and says, okay, if we're looking for Satan, we can find Satan anywhere.
Absolutely.
Especially in the world.
Absolutely.
Yes.
But then there were some other ones. And like, I don't know rap very well, but it was somebody, Lil something.
I don't know him.
Who had the shoes.
Lil Nas.
I didn't even know it said that Nike sued it.
Nike was like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
We're not part of
Why
this.
did you think that you could use the shoe?
It's wild. It's just wild.
I'm trying to understand like why you would even think that was a collaboration. It was kind of cool it was cool to see a Bible verse on a shoe, but not that Bible
Not that
verse.
one.
Yeah.
No, Jesus.
It makes you wonder what happens when I saw a lot of it. Like, this is what happens when people take things out of context.
Yes.
Like the whole demonic pyramid piece. Like, just when you're looking at the pyramid on the dollar and how there's all of this controversy and conspiracy theory around it. It's like, if you want to attribute something to it, you can find it.
Of course.
And you can take something like, that's from the devil. What was that movie Adam Sandler was in? That's the devil, Bobby Boucher.
Yeah.
It was like, some of that, this is what was happening.
Yeah.
And I was like, some of it is really, I don't think it's that serious in the light that it's being portrayed.
Yeah.
But I think,
and then some other things I was like, well, that's just, that's problematic visually for me.
Yeah.
And spiritually for me.
Yes. So there was some element in it that did kind of resonate. It's like, okay, you might for real worship at the altar of Satan. Like, no, Joe, not me being weird or extreme or judgy or religious.
But there are people that do. And so
Right.
I think that there is, that people, artists or entertainers are appealing to that population.
Yeah.
So they're taking a chance to appeal to that consumer, you know, in spite of what their other, you know, not other consumers or other fans believe.
I mean, and that's a good point, right? There may be a small percentage of people who are legitimately like, that's their target audience. Like, yes, I'm showing you my true colors. This is what I believe, right?
Didn't you see there was on the news, and it wasn't in Arizona. I can't remember what state it was in, where they were having Satan clubs at school because people have Girl Scouts and at school, remember the meetings. And so they were like, it's not fair that we can't have Satan clubs, because I know it sounds crazy because that's just not what we believe.
Yeah.
But if you did believe that, you would feel like left out.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like people do that because they want to be contrite.
Yeah.
You know, like I work with people and all the smokers would get up and they would go take their break. And I'm like, where are everybody going? Oh, we're taking a smoke break. And I was like, well, one day I got up. Where are you going? I'm taking my non-smoker break because I want my 15 minutes off as well.
Yes, praise him. I'm gonna get a donut.
So I see you just created precedent. So I'm going to follow along with that. If it's good for you, it's good for me. I'm just going to make it work for me. I feel like sometimes people take a little advantage with that.
Yeah.
And then they run with it.
Well, so smoking causes cancer too. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't need to take
That's
the
a
break.
whole nother conversation.
I know it's another conversation, but it's just like, you know what? Like, we all have our vices or whatever.
Sure.
We all get it where, you know.
Sure.
So I guess
where you fit in.
You brought it kind of full circle, right?
Yeah.
So like, yes, they may be able to have a Satan club, but that has consequences down the line.
Correct.
You know,
I
like
don't
big
wanna be
ones,
a part
big ones,
Right.
Big facts. But so then let's bring it to the middle, right? So you have the people who probably genuinely worship Satan and they're just showing their true colors. And then I think there's like a middle ground. There are these people who like, and that's where I think Doja Cat feels. Like I feel in my spirit, I don't think she's really worshiping on the altar of Satan. I think someone in the music industry said, girl, did you see the number of views you got when they said that you like Satan?
Correct.
We gonna play this up. And she wasn't spiritually grounded enough to say, no, that doesn't align with my principles. Or maybe she didn't have an opinion either way. So
Jesus
she
hung out
went with
prostitutes. I'm just saying.
Well, and I
he was also Jesus, though. She's not.
Fair. She's not Jesus.
But to your point, when she came out, I noticed that a lot of the hype in the beginning was all playing into, and everything was soaked in blood red everywhere, and it was super dramatic with it. And it was like you were almost waiting for the pitchfork and the tongues and the stuff to come out, but it never did.
Nope.
And the longer the show went on, the more it just became like a regular show.
Correct.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, this is marketing.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
And it's interesting because at the beginning it was like, well, how are you going to have your son do that? I was like, well, if she pulls out a goat and tries to sacrifice it on stage,
We're
maybe
outta
we
here.
leave.
Yeah.
Plead the blood of Jesus and hit the parking lot.
That's right.
That's what
we
I'm
gonna
thinking.
pray in the car.
That's right. That's right.
So I think there's that. And then I think there's a whole nother group. Like, I think we were saying Rihanna was one of the ones in the video where I was like, they stretched a little bit because she wore the color red. She looked gorgeous in that
She
red.
looks beautiful.
No. And she's been using red as an undercurrent for Fendi for a while. So it's part of a brand that she set. It's like, it's not uncommon to see Beyonce with the yellow and the gold.
Yeah.
That's been part of. So I was like, I think we're doing too much, but I think that's what media does as well, as they run with those stories and they pull the thread. I think sometimes artists capitalize on that,
Of course.
because it's going to boost them, and they're like, we know what's real, and when we can connect with our fans, we can demonstrate to them what's really us. But it is unfortunate that that's the lane that they chose to kind of swim in.
Yeah. I mean,
Well, and clickbait. Have you ever heard of clickbait? You know, like,
a little bit in my marketing degree.
yeah. Just saying.
But yeah, that's exactly what it is for some people is clickbait. And I think even like the Rihanna's of the world, I don't think that she's going for that look for clickbait.
No.
I think it's just like, I happen to wear red.
Yeah.
And I'm even saying the person even putting this video together about the themes of all these artists, because some were like Lil Nas X. Yeah, I see it. There was some other rapper that actually had horns.
Yeah.
And I hope those can be taken off and those weren't surgically You know, like there's people have surgically done stuff to their face, like
Oh my
put
gosh.
diamonds. There was I can't remember. Yeah.
Diamonds. That's different.
Is it though? I don't know if I want a diamond in the middle of my forehead. I mean,
Fashion choice.
Yes, I've seen
Big
it.
statement.
Yeah, there's lots of different accoutrements people have added to themselves.
But
well, it's different culturally. It's a different thing. That's not what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I'm talking, I'm talking
optional,
different.
like super wildly
Adding
optional.
horns to your head is an optional thing.
100%. It's interesting because as I was looking through the different ones that had the horns, they looked very similar. And one of the things I heard him say at the beginning is the music industry demonic? And I was like, what if there's that same guy in the background saying, okay, like I almost think of the artists sometimes that don't have control over their image, what happens in their shows, what happens in they just showed up. They didn't know what was going on in the background. It's Bobby, who's the Satan worshiper in the back, who had control over these things. And I was like, it could be a little bit of that too.
Yeah. We had this whole sermon at church where my pastor was talking about just being very careful about your ear gate and your eye gate and the music that you listen to. And then also understanding that sometimes there are subliminal messages that are put into certain musics and tracks, and people have uncovered these things to find those things to be true. And we even see that in marketing on television commercials and things of that nature. But artists who do not have control of themselves. And there was one of the videos, I think it was Megan Thee Stallion, where she was placed into like this whole alternative reality. Now, if you don't know what you're doing and they tell you it's going to be like you're going to be a pearl inside of an oyster that's opening itself up, and then you see it, and then there's a lot more red in color and there's different things, and then it's published and you're like, wait a second, I never agreed to this. And they're like, you didn't have to. Per your contract,
100%.
It allows for us to take this creative license. And I think things like that do happen to artists.
Yeah.
Not saying that that's what happened in her instance, but there's all of those pieces when you look at the fact that, it's a business.
It is.
It's a business.
And you nailed it. I think that's what I wanted, where that kind of naturally flows for me next is that ear gate. So we started super extreme, but let's bring it back to like the main point of why this even becomes a conversation is because if these people, whether they're intentionally doing it or not, whether it's being played up or not, I think, and whether it's related to Satan or not, you have to be careful of what you're putting in your spirit, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's where the conversation around secular music comes in. But I think it's beyond secular music. I think whether it's secular music or faith-based music, faith-based music isn't going to be like talking about Satan or anything.
No.
But there is some secular music that really speaks to your soul.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
And so it's just all about guarding your ear gate.
Yes.
And this type of music that really does that for you and the type of music that doesn't. And I found as I gotten older that there's certain music that just like hits me upside the head. And like, I don't know why I felt the need to manually hit myself upside the head.
Can I see that one more time?
Was that demonstration good for you?
It was.
I mean,
it was
I
very
wanted to see
clear.
it one more time.
It was very clear.
So like, it just hits me hard. And it's so weird because I couldn't describe it. Like one day I was listening to Cat Williams and my mom was like, how can you listen to this? And I was like, I just kind of screened it all out. And then I went back to watch Cat Williams again. And I was like, oh my, I can't listen to this. And I think it's just my ear gate got readjusted. No good or bad. There's nothing wrong with people who listen to things that are different than me.
Right.
It was just for me. So now I listen to Broadway musicals and gospel music, and that's what makes my soul happy.
Yeah. There's some things that I listen to, and sometimes there's secular music. There's like certain songs, like I have a whole playlist that is about me adjusting my mood and getting my mindset, something that actually like, I feel like it speaks to my spirit when I need to be adjusted.
Yes.
Either when I'm going into a space that feels chaotic or unsettling, or I don't know what's happening. And it just it's almost like a Shareé channel.
Ooh.
And when I listen to that, I am in a good place. I am centered. I am grounded. I can feel good things happening around me, even if I'm in a place that might be chaotic. And sometimes I do that when I am in a place that's chaotic, or I need to keep my calm.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's secular and sometimes it's not. But I feel like you just need to listen for it. And there's other things that I'd be like, I don't, like you said, sometimes it's like, I don't know if I want to be cussed out this morning. I'm not going to listen to that on my way to work this morning.
You said, I don't know if I want to be cussed out this morning.
Wait a second. What did he say?
Did he just call me what?
Right. Yeah. No, it's funny you say that because my husband, we met like in college. I was right before I turned 18. And so obviously what we used to listen to then and now, like you said, your ear gate changes. So I don't like when I hear I'm like, can we not listen to 3 6 Mafia? Like it makes me want to fight. I don't fight though.
Yeah. You're like,
never gotten into a physical fight ever.
Why am I suddenly ready to throw balls?
I'm ready to throw hands on somebody, and I don't want to do that. So it riles you up, and so no, I definitely have seen my ear gate change, and I, similar to Shareé, I have a whole channel that is focused with my faith and my all that. But then I do listen to other artists.
Yeah.
And there are some things in their, list or whatever you want to call it, album or what am I trying to think of, you guys?
Like a different genre? Or
No, there's just some things in there like
repertoire
or...
like in their body of work.
Body of work.
This was a fun game. It was like taboo.
I was like come on. Yeah. Like, yes, please help. Yeah.
Where's my prize?
That I don't listen to. Like there's some Chris Brown stuff that I really like. And then there's some I'm like, what, like you said, what did you just say that
Yes.
word? I don't know. Like I used to listen to the Pussycat Dolls. Right?
Yes.
Don't you wish your boyfriend? And then I was singing that song. And with my girls, I was like, wait, girls, we don't subscribe to any of this.
Yeah.
Like, we don't this is not cute. You know what I mean? Like when you really get into the lyrics and the words. So I had to say this, I'm only listening it to the beat. It's not the words, it's the beat. You know.
It's like 6-year-old me. You know what OPP?
Yes. Why are you saying
And everybody's like, what is OPP? Other people's property. It was their Nintendo game, Mom.
My toys, your toys.
Yes, other people's property. That's obviously, I was a whole entire adult and I was like, oh my, no wonder she didn't want me to sing that.
Right?
Oh my goodness. When you go revisit the songs from your childhood, the adult songs from your childhood.
I know Silk, I won't even finish it.
There's a lot. Well,
He wasn't talking to ice cream, girl. He wasn't talking to an ice cream cone.
Or Too Close. Next.
Yes.
My goodness.
Yeah.
We listened. That was playing at a junior high. I'm like, how did they let that play?
Because they were trying to give you a hint to back up off the person you were dancing with. They said, you get in too close.
I want to know who allowed Little John to show up and just be like to the windows.
Yeah. I was in college by
the first
that
time I
though.
realized it really messed me up. Cause like you said, me and the beat, we were homies.
Yeah. The Whisper song.
We were homies. And then I was like, wait a second. Did he just,
Listen,
man.
I only knew the the radio version of the Whisper song. I don't think I heard the
because you weren't actually buying that
version until I was an adult, and I was like, "Oh,
yeah,
wow!"
Now you know what he's waiting to see.
Yes, I was like,
yes, it was a surprise.
It was more than just whispers.
I'm glad he kept it a surprise. Sometimes
now
they
you know
share
why he was whispering. You can't yell that out in the crowd.
No, wait till you. No, that's weird. That gets weird.
It gets weird quick.
So the beat, we were all dancing to the beat.
We
though.
were.
Okay.
We were.
So I love that you talk about these playlists that pour into your soul. And I am that girl too. I have a playlist for each situation. I have a get off of it playlist, and it's literally called that. It's like when I need to remember that, I'm stuck in, it's actually Stuck in a Moment is on there. Cause like you're stuck in a moment cause you're like replaying how somebody hurt you or how you're mad at somebody. And it's like, no, you need to get off of it. You're stuck in a moment and you can't get out of it. And as soon as you acknowledge it, it kind of flips it around. And it's got a few other songs that just let me know.
Yes.
Like one of my favorite ones is like, it just takes some time. Little girl, you're in the middle of the ride.
Everything
Yes.
gonna be all right.
Now that's a secular song. That centers me so fast because you know what that tells me is, okay, God has a plan.
That's right.
And you're in the middle. My shirt says, God is still writing your story.
Yes.
Stop trying to grab the pen. That may not be what it says verbatim, but that's what I got from it. That's my voice.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah. And you know what? Fine. Grab the pen and see what happens. You're not going to like it and you're going to give it right back to him. I'm like, take the pen.
I'm
I
not a
don't
good
want the
writer.
pen.
Just compare the chapters and see if you like which one better than the other.
I like all his chapters.
He can ghostwrite for me any day.
He is such a good writer.
He's
and I'd be
great.
like, I see what you did there. I see what you did. You introduced that on chapter 3, and I
Yes.
didn't know you were going to do that in chapter 5.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love it when I get the aha and be like, wait a minute. I see what you're doing.
I see what you did.
I rocks with you. I see what you're doing.
I came across this TikTok or social media where this lady is in the car. She's in the passenger seat and God is driving. And she's like, hey, let's stop back there. Oh, you don't want to stop back there? Oh, can we get a snack? Oh, you're not hungry? And so it's funny because God is just driving. And she's like, okay, well, some people... Oh, okay, you don't want okay, you got this. It was cute. It was just another reminder, like, chill, relax. And I feel like I'm kind of in that mode, not just music, but everything. Like, if it's not his will, I don't want it.
That's where I'm at in my life. And especially when it comes to dating. And I know you haven't had to deal with that in a while because you're good and married. So kind of, but we are having to start dating again because we're going through a different chapter in terms of like our kids are getting ready to leave and we don't want to look at each other and be like, who are you? So we are learning to date again, but I want to see what you. Yeah. No, I love that for you. It's not the
again,
same.
Brandy at 17 isn't the same Brandy at 40. I'm just saying.
Yes. Yeah. I totally get that. And I love that for you.
And I support you.
I love that for you.
I love that for you.
I'm reading what you're throwing over here.
Oh, let me finish throwing it. But what we doing in these streets ain't nothing like what you doing right now.
No, I had a girlfriend tell me, girl, whatever you do, stay married. She said stay married. Mm-hmm. So I feel you.
Yes.
Okay, keep going. Keep going. Let me. Yes.
So with dating, because there's pee in the pool. There's pee in the dating pool.
And a little something else, too.
And right, girl?
A little something
what
else.
is this mixed with?
There's some number
Why
2 in
did we
there.
do this?
There's some number 2 in there.
Didn't nobody get no home training?
It's funky in there.
It is. Mm-hmm. And so...
The chlorine is not helping.
But the
or
emoji
it's
I
worn
am
off.
is the dead emoji right now. I'm the dead emoji.
I love it. For our friends... For our friends on video, enjoy this. If you're not on video, the YouTube will come out soon. But here's the thing, though. When I'm dating a guy, that
was a great analogy. I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm going to use it.
No,
there's pee in the pool.
Oh, yeah. Us single people have been saying this for a minute, girl.
Yes. Yeah, it's not new.
Yeah.
So what I'm telling you is that when I go into a dating relationship, I really talk to God and I ask him kind of what's going on here and give me some discernment. Is this the person that you're bringing into my life? Is this someone I'm choosing to bring into my life? Because I'd rather stay single for a year if it means I'm going to go through 3 or 4 or 5 rocky relationships for a year and end up in the same place. I'd save me the heartache. And I was like, I'm so committed to it. It's if you don't want this, if this is not your plan for me, I don't even want it.
No.
I don't care how cute he is. I don't care how much money he has. I don't care how much money he has. I don't care how tall.
That kind of sounded like you were trying to convince yourself.
I just wanted to revisit that one for a second.
Sometimes you have to talk to yourself because I have had this conversation. And especially, it's so challenging. Mm-hmm. And so I've prayed this prayer. Can you make sure that there is something that I recognize that I cannot unsee?
Ooh,
that's a good one.
That could go either way, though.
I know.
You want
because if I'm not your person, I'm not everybody's cup of tea.
That's right.
And I'm okay with that.
That's right.
Please tap out early, sir. Yeah. And thank you. And best of luck to you on your way. And same. If there's something I need to see, show me quick.
Please.
Show me quick.
Quick and in a hurry.
And
First
be okay
date.
with that, you guys. Because, God saved my life. Mm-hmm. There is no way I would still be alive. Right? The way I was having fun in those streets, if I didn't meet my husband and didn't have my daughter and... Yes.
How bad could it have gotten by 17, ma'am?
I mean,
yeah.
Listen,
I don't believe
she couldn't even get into a club yet.
I don't believe you.
Oh, there's, I was at a college campus. I'm not going to admit to anything, but prove it.
We
Tried
are
to
changing
prove it,
names to protect the
but,
innocent
We already
and the
said her
guilty.
name.
That's right. That's right. There are ways to get into bars without, being of age. And I joined a sorority.
Mm-hmm.
I got I'm not happy. I'm not proud of this, but I'm not ashamed of it either because I got a 1.8 my first semester.
Yeah, I thought she was going to say
college.
something different than that.
I thought it was going to be a blood alcohol level.
I thought it was something different.
They have GPAs
So
that
what
low?
Brandy's saying is she had some normal American type fun.
A 1.8. No, I was partying every week or every day of the week.
That's what
First of all.
college, a lot of people do that.
1.8. I almost got kicked out of school.
Wait, but what combination of letters you got to get a 1.8?
You got to not go to class.
You gotta
a lot.
not go to
You have to not
class.
go a lot. And I don't know this personally, but I saw people do it. You got to. It's like I had a student who Shareé named nameless to protect the guilty. Who I felt like because he sat next to me in class, and he only came on the test day.
Oh yeah,
and I was like, brother, you confident that you gonna pass that test?
I don't wait. So here's what's happening with me right now.
I'm sorry.
This is good. I love this for you. This is just an awakening moment. So here's some context you should know about me. In college, I got sent to Africa because I had the highest GPA in the region for my sorority. So I just when I asked 1.8 was one of the options. I didn't
the words that are coming.
I didn't understand. I didn't read none of the books. I didn't like if they sent me home with the books, they were holding the door open. But I went to class. Like if I didn't do anything else, I went to class, and that's how I learned. And I got the highest GPA in the region. So I was confuzzled.
Hence underscoring your intelligence.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's that, but I can tell you back what you just told me in class.
That's
on
that's
a test.
that's
you
an
also
intelligent
listen
strategy, though.
in class.
That's intelligence.
I could go to class, but I maybe was hungover.
Yeah.
So I did not understand if I decided to go to class.
Got it.
My GPA was so low that when I did get I think I got a 3.2 my second semester, I still had a low 2 something. It was awful.
I'm going to go research this later and find out what letters. But what music were you listening to at the time? What was feeding your spirit?
You know what was everybody in the club getting tipsy?
Now, wait a minute. I was listening to that too.
and I went to school in Illinois. And so on Sundays, there's not even a club or bar open. But the loophole is you go to a restaurant that still serves alcohol.
Wow, that's deep.
Okay. So we started talking about what's going on in these streets in the dating world. And then we ended up on 1.8. And then we ended up getting tipsy in the club on Sundays.
But I felt like it brought it full circle with the brunch Sunday.
Ignition.
And this is what people are doing on Sunday mornings.
Yeah.
And it's like
that's a good
I like that.
So I
that
feel
is
like
a good point.
That part.
So we talk about music, and you just brought up R. Kelly.
Yes.
And so
that was hard, you guys. That was hard because he is, I am deeply disgusted about what he did and about all of the people who knew what he was doing that did nothing.
But here's the thing. Don't you see scandals like that in both sides of the house? I mean, we see scandals like that. It's not tied to secular music. You see scandals like that in gospel world.
Oh boy.
Absolutely.
Oh boy.
And that's why there's some people that are turned off by that because we're at the end of the day, we're people. The only person that
at the
didn't
beginning of the
sin
day we're people.
was Jesus.
The beginning of the day
it.
we're people.
So at the beginning, at the end, we are fallible sinners. That's who we are.
Yeah.
So we shouldn't I think you had mentioned, we shouldn't put all these expectations on people who are Christians and believe. Yes, because that is at the beginning and the end of the day.
Yeah.
That's their relationship with God. That has nothing to do with us. Yeah, is it disappointing when you see somebody, fall from grace or make a mistake? Is it disappointing? But I think it's about how you recover from that mistake.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But I also think it's different. And I have personal experience with this. I grew up in church.
Yeah.
Since I grew up in church. And seeing people who take it upon themselves to take a position of authority in the church where you are giving other people spiritual guidance and leadership,
right?
You have a responsibility.
I agree.
And it's just like, don't get behind the wheel of that 18-wheeler if you don't know what you're doing and you're not prepared.
That's fair.
Because you could hurt people out here.
That is
and
fair.
You can lead them into a place that then they have to find how to get back from that.
Yeah.
And I think that does happen with places and spaces. So I think to a certain extent, it's almost like, you have to take everyone as a human being.
Yes.
And when you do that, whether it's secular music, I'm not going to pretend I understand what's going on with Kanye West because he's a person.
Yeah.
I'm not going to pretend to understand what that looks like on the other side of the mic for him. But I'm also not going to have an expectation.
Correct. Thank you.
That he's going to be anything other than a person who is an artist and they put out content and how you consume that content is on you.
Correct.
Any more than I'm going to assume. I was going to pick a gospel person that I like, but I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm going to assume that a person who happens to make gospel or Christian music, that person is, I'm going to go ahead and throw Kirk Franklin out there.
We knew who you were talking about. We all knew.
I'm not going to assume that he's not a regular person who has flaws, who has challenges, who has bad days and vices and other things.
Yeah.
I'm not going to assume those things.
Yeah. Right.
So I'm going to take the content and I'm going to make my own decision as to what content is appropriate for me.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, and I just, like, if Kirk Franklin's purpose is to provide that hope for the masses, let it be that. Like, why can't he have his own vices? If his songs help even one person, which we probably, know it's helped far more than that. That's okay. That's what it's intended to do.
And what if he's just in it to entertain, just like a secular music artist?
And that's okay.
I am always entertained by Kirk Franklin.
I mean, he throws out some stuff.
I'm just gonna go say I'm always entertained.
Check and check. I love all these conversations. So as we kind of bring it full circle, if someone were sitting there and they're a person of faith and they're confused, there's a lot of rhetoric in the space. I mean, they may be confused by this conversation too, because there was a lot. We talked about all the rhetoric that's out there.
All the things.
If they're sitting there looking like, okay, so faith, how does secular music tie to my faith? And can I listen to secular music? Like, what advice would you give them? What would you speak to someone who's in that position of just trying to figure out how they feel about secular music?
I say first and foremost, it is a personal relationship with the Most High that I have. And I don't want anyone in my relationship telling me how to relate to the Most High. And we have that conversation about what's appropriate for Shareé, what's right for Shareé, and that changes over time. So it is about me being able to make sure, do I have a good enough connection that I can hear clearly what that answer is? Or am I so far away that I'm like, I don't know, let me try it. If I know, then that means that my connection is good, it's strong, and I'm like, I don't think I want to be cussed out on the way to work. Now listen to that. Or guess what? This really feels like I am in my perfect place and space in this moment listening to this. I'm going to add this to my playlist.
Yes.
Go there.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay. Ms. Brandy, what would you say?
I think I have a similar take. It's about me and my BFF, God and Jesus, okay, and the Holy Spirit, all of them.
The whole Trinity.
So I don't really care. I mean, if I don't care what my husband has to say, God rest my mother's soul. If those are the most influential people in my life, I definitely don't care what anybody outside of my household, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Has to say. So it's between God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit. All that comes before my husband, my mom, everyone.
You said it's between me and thee.
Mm-hmm. Me and thee. Mm-hmm. That's a shirt.
Yeah.
It's between me and thee.
Yeah. I love that. And I think that really speaks to my soul is it's a personal choice what you listen to, but you just got to be careful of that ear gate.
Yes.
You want to make sure that you're picking things, whether they're secular or non-secular, that are speaking to your soul. and that you're not doing damage to your spirit. You're not taking yourself off course, off purpose. You're not filling your mind with thoughts that don't serve you and that don't help you get aligned with your purpose.
Yes.
And quite the opposite. It's not just what you're not listening to, that you are filling yourself with those playlists, the Shareé playlist, the Jessica playlist, the Brandy playlist that speak to you and help you stay in alignment with your purpose and where God's trying to take you.
Amen. His will, his way.
Yeah.
See, that's a beautiful way to leave this conversation, ladies. Thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. And thank you for joining us. We hope that you got a little nugget out of that and had a little fun along the way as we talked a little bit about music and how it relates to our faith. It's a big topic and we touched on a lot of things, but at the end of the day, what you listen to is your choice and you have to do what's right for you and your spirit and protect your ear gate. So we look forward to seeing you in the next episode. If you enjoyed this one, like, follow, subscribe so that you can catch us next time on Faith and Fire.